Have you ever stared at your reflection? I mean really stared, until the face looking back at you starts to feel like a stranger. That's been my life for the past month. It started subtly. I'd be brushing my teeth, lost in thought, and I'd blink, then a heartbeat later. My reflection would blink too. At first, I dismissed it, a trick of the lights. Fatigue. My brain playing games with me. It's easy to explain away the impossible, right? But it kept happening. The delay was always there. A tiny, unsettling lag. I started testing it. I'd stand in front of the bathroom mirror and perform a series of rapid blinks. 1, 2, 3, and like a delayed echo, my reflection would follow. 1, 2, 3. The rest of my movements were perfectly synchronized. My smile, my frown, the way I tilted my head. Only the blinks were out of sync. It was like watching a movie with the audio just slightly off, barely noticeable, but enough to make your skin crawl. I tried different mirrors. The full-length one in my bedroom, the rear-view mirror in my car, even the polished surface of a store window. The result was always the same. This other me, this copy, was always a fraction of a second behind. I stopped looking at myself. I started showering with the curtain mostly closed, doing my makeup using a tiny compact, avoiding my own gaze at all costs. The anxiety was a constant hum under my skin. Was I going crazy? My friends noticed the change. I was jumpy, constantly looking over my shoulder. How could I explain that I was being haunted by my own reflection? They'd think I'd lost it. So I lied, said I was stressed from work, not sleeping well, which wasn't entirely a lie. Sleep offered no escape. My dreams were filled with endless hallways of mirrors, each one showing a version of me that was just a little bit different. One had a scar I didn't have. Another's eyes were a different color. Last night, something shifted. The dread that had been my constant companion for weeks finally pushed me to a breaking point. I needed to confront it. I needed to know what was happening. With my heart pounding against my ribs like a trapped bird, I walked into the dark bathroom. I didn't turn on the light. The faint glow from the hallway was enough to see the silhouette in the mirror. I stood there for what felt like an eternity, just breathing. My reflection was a dark shape, its features lost in the shadows. I forced myself to take a step closer, then another, until my nose was almost touching the cold glass. I stared into the dark smudges that were its eyes, waiting. Then I blinked. I held my breath, counting the seconds. 1, 2, 3. Nothing. It didn't blink back. A wave of relief washed over me so intense it made me dizzy. It was over. It was all in my head. But then, a sliver of moonlight cut through the window, illuminating the face in the mirror. And it smiled. It wasn't my smile. It was wide, sharp, and utterly devoid of warmth. My own lips were pressed into a thin, terrified line. My blood ran cold. The reflection raised a hand, its movements fluid and independent of my own, and pressed its palm flat against the glass from the other side. A low whisper, like dry leaves, skittering across pavement, slithered into the silent room. It wasn't coming from the mirror, but from all around me, as if the walls themselves were speaking. We've been waiting for you. And from every reflective surface in the room, the faucet, the wet tiles, even my own wide, terrified eyes, 100 other smiles gleamed back at me in the dark.